Welcome to Redacted Tonight, the comedy show where Americans in America covering American news are called foreign agents. A year ago, I covered how Iran was threatening to drop the US dollar in its dealings with foreign currencies. I assume you wrote it down at the time, all right? There's gonna be an exam at the end. Well, just this week, we found out Iran has finally done it. They finally switched from the dollar to the euro. And you might think, so, who really cares, Lee? I can't worry about that. I got shit to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I got kids. I got to meet up with my friend at Starbucks. He's black, so we got to leave some time to get arrested, because that's what they do there now. Who cares about Iran dropping the dollar? I'll tell you who cares. The U.S. government cares a lot. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the banking, all right? Remember that P. Diddy song, right? It's all about the banking. I always look to P. Diddy to guide my life. I really do. You know, some people look to the Big Dipper. I look to the P. Diddy. I do. The United States gets a lot of our power and economic might from the petrodollar. In fact, we have a funny little habit of invading and destroying countries that stop using the dollar. It happens so much that you start to realize it's a bit of a trend. It is. You know, like if you have a friend who's like dating a stark, raving mad girl with no sense of humor, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with her? And then he breaks up with her, and you're like, oh, thank God, now we can hang out again. And then he starts dating another one exactly the same, and you're like, oh, God, I guess that's his type, you know? He likes women who throw blenders at his head and punch through drywall, and that's his thing. Well, invading and destroying countries that drop the petrodollar is starting to look like our thing. It is. As The Guardian reported in October 2000, Iraq insisted on dumping the US dollar, the currency of the enemy, for the more multilateral euro. So not long after that, the Bush administration desperately wanted to force the WMD intelligence. They just had to make it fit for an invasion. We now know the WMD story was a mountain of horse shit, so large it had other smaller horse shit orbiting it. So clearly there were other reasons the US needed to invade, and one of the biggest ones was Saddam's switch away from the dollar. But that's not all. Soon after Libya began moving towards an African gold-based currency and lining up all of their African neighbors to join them, we invaded them as well, with the help of NATO. Author Ellen Brown pointed out this fact at the time of the invasion. She said, Gaddafi initiated a movement to refuse the dollar and the euro and called on Arab and African nations to use a new currency instead, the gold dinar. John Perkins, the author of Confessions of an Economic Hitman, great book, he has also said that the true reason for the attack on Libya was Gaddafi's move away from the dollar and the euro. Clearly, it's all about the banking, all right? But Lee, that's ridiculous. If it were about the banking, then the rebels in Libya, getting help from NATO and the United States, would have set up some sort of new banking system after bringing down Gaddafi. Actually, they didn't wait that long. In the middle of the brutal war, the Libyan rebels formed their own central bank. Ellen Brown said several writers have noted the odd fact the Libyan rebels took time out from their rebellion in March to create their own central bank. This before they even had a government. Yeah, you know, the brutal war to-do list. 1, torture and murder Gaddafi in the streets, check. 2, kill a raccoon for dinner, check. 3, form a central bank, check. 4, find somewhere quiet to take a shit. Working on it. Boy, that sure does sound like it's all about the banking. Maybe the rebels had some help. Let's dig a little deeper. Most of you know about General Wesley Clark's famous quote about 7 countries in 5 years. I've played this clip on the show. It should be in your notes. Check your notes. There'll be an exam at the end. Clark is a 4-star general, the former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, and he ran for president in 2004. Basically, done nothing with his life. Nothing at all. But he may very well be remembered for the fact that he told us the The Pentagon said to him in like 2002, we're going to take down 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, then Syria, Lebanon, then Libya, Somalia, Sudan. We're going to come back, get Iran in 5 years. Most of those have happened. And we've added some to the list, of course. Afghanistan, well, they didn't have our money, they had our drugs. By 2014, Afghanistan was producing twice as much opium as it did in 2000. By 2015, Afghanistan was the source of 90% of the world's opium poppy. It's all about the banking, but sometimes it's about your drugs. You know, I believe that was Trump's economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, who taught me that one. Larry Kudlow had a $100,000 a month coke habit. I mean, look, I'm fine with anybody doing anything they want on their own time, as long as it's consensual. I'm fine with that. But $100,000 a month? Was he snorting diamonds that had passed through a virgin's digestive tract? Jesus, Larry, you're scaring the normals, all right? Take a breather, man. Take a breather. Not through the nostrils. Breathe it through the nostrils. Then there's Yemen. We're helping to destroy Yemen, largely to make Saudi Arabia happy. Apparently, we only claim to care about Syrian children to justify regime change. We couldn't care less about Yemeni children, Iraqi children, Afghani children, Palestinian children, North Korean children, Vietnamese children, Somali children. I mean, Flint, Michigan children, Baltimore children, Native American children, Puerto Rican children, Na'vi children. Oh, wait, I think that's from Avatar. Was that fiction? I think that was fiction. You know, my memories are starting to blend with the 3D movies I've seen. They're just kind of coming together. But the head of the CIA is Ultron, right? I have that right? Anyway. Ellen Brown goes even further in her analysis about General Clark's bombshell. What do these 7 countries have in common? None of them is listed among the 56 member banks of the Bank for International Settlements. That evidently puts them outside the long regulatory arm of the central banker's central bank in Switzerland. The most renegade of the lot could be Libya and Iraq, the 2 that have actually been attacked. It's all about the bacon, motherfucker! All right? You get it? But Lee, then why is the U.S. so eager to turn Syria into a failed state if Syria never dropped the dollar? Your whole stupid theory falls apart right there. Oh, does it? Does it? Does it? Annoying as fuck, other Lee? Does it? Huh? Chicago Tribune, February 2006. Syria, dollar dropped as primary hard currency. I think I'm noticing a bit of a trend here. In fact, this past January 4th, it was reported Pakistan was ditching the dollar just in trade with China. And that same day, the U.S. placed them on the watch list for religious freedom violations. Yeah, they violated our religion of cold hard cash. They did. They did. No, it was just a coincidence. Pakistan stopped using the dollar with China on the same day they started punching Christians in the nose. That's coinky-dink, coinky-dink. So now that Iran has officially dropped the dollar, be prepared for an even greater push for war with Iran. The recent pressure started about a year ago when Trump got into office and Iran threatened to drop the dollar. The mainstream media will likely run an increasing number of reports pushing for obliterating yet another country, such as this from PBS. Iran, still top state sponsor of terrorism. One must assume this list of terror sponsors does not include the country that made arms that significantly enhanced ISIS's military capabilities, or the country that averages over 140 bombs dropped per day under Donald Trump. But those bombs don't cause terror. Those are the happy bombs. They just dropped 1995 Richard Simmons down on people. That's all it is. It's very jazzy and fun. It's a good time. But Lee, if this is all about dropping the dollar, then why was French President Macron running around D.C. this week trying to get Trump to stay in the Iran nuclear deal, yet France was leading the charge to attack Libya and bring down Gaddafi. You really are a sack of shit, Otherly. You really are. I'll tell you why. Iran dropped the dollar for the euro. So France's cool with that. That sounds good. But Gaddafi was threatening to drop the dollar and the euro for an African currency. It's all about the banking. But the nice thing about our manufacturing of consent for war nowadays is how predictable it is. What will happen next is the U.S. will continue to raise the threat of Iran. At the same time, we'll be funding rebel groups. Then, if things get crazy enough, we'll start accusing Iran of having WMD or chemical WMD or nuclear testing. And then we'll go, that is a red line. We need to bomb them because they've crossed the red line and we are the moral authority based on nothing. Giving our foreign policy red lines is like putting lipstick on a pig, all right? You get it? Red lines, lipstick, you get it? You get it? I stayed up for like 3 nights coming up with that. Or if the corporate media isn't doing the war cheerleading themselves, they'll just act like Israel's stenographer, dutifully repeating, Iran seeks to dominate the world. Yes, Iran is taking over. In fact, they have already taken over this area between our military bases. Look at them. Fucking took it all over. Took it all. They didn't even leave a piece for us. They've also taken over this island off the coast of Alaska. Yeah, there's an Iranian military base staring down Alaska, all right? And I am, of course, lying. But could you imagine how much we'd flip the fuck out if an Iranian military base just popped up near us? We would lose our goddamn minds. But of course, Iran would never do that because they have no intention of dominating the world. However, we've done that everywhere around the entire goddamn planet. And one of the reasons we've done that is to make sure everyone keeps using our banking system. It's all about the banking. Write it in your notes. Write it down in your notes right now. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., Belly Beast, Redacted Tonight.